Hello and welcome to EVE Online. My name is High Speed Lemo. I'm a player within the Forest Corporation, a member corp of the Initiative Alliance. Today's video is all about back to our how-to guide series, and this is how to take part in the pirate faction warfare, the insurgency with the Angel Cartel. So I hope you enjoy this video. We're going to run this intro and get right into it. And welcome back. So we have a lot to touch base on today, and this will be kind of really fun. So once again, back to this how-to guide. It is subject to change. That means things can change to this. Obviously, I'm going to touch upon where everything stands right now, and then get you started. Especially if you're newer to the game, I have different recommendations in terms of if Angels is going to be for you or Garistas are going to be for you, because it runs differently than normal faction warfare. By normal, I mean like Amar, Galente, Mimitar, and Calderi. It's all a little bit different. So we'll kind of talk into the enlisting part of it. We'll touch on enlisting, the fits you're going to need for PvE, and how to do it on a budget. I mean, I love to run cheap stuff, especially in faction warfare, because you know what? I die all the time. I suck. It is what it is. Some PvP ship suggestions. Obviously, there's plenty of other fits out of the world. These are just some of the ones that I use. So there's plenty to use out there. There's so many more to use. It's a very versatile realm. You can do what you want, what you feel comfortable with, what you want to, your skills are good for. But this is stuff that I use. Then we're going to talk about the sites. The sites for Angel and Garissa's PvP, not PvP, but PvP is involved. Sites are running a little bit differently than your normal faction warfare sites. So we'll talk about those, and then how to make ISK at the end of it all. You know, once you get these loyalty points, like what is a good way to make ISK off of it, and we'll touch on those. So without further ado, let's run right into the enlistment part. So obviously I have my screen here, but now we're going to start clicking around. So we're going to go to our neocom menu. So I'm going to try and use beginner focused language as much as I can for players who might be new to the game. So I hit the neocom menu, which is typically above my character sheet. Go to activities. I see opportunities, career, all this stuff right here. Faction warfare, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to insurgencies. Now I'm already a member of the Angel Cartel, so there's a few things here that can be a little different than for me. So as you can see, we are currently in an active insurgency, but it says 24 jumps from me to the nearby fob system. However, that's not how always things work. So let's go to learn more, and we're going to talk about how to enlist. So we're going to go straight to the Angel Cartel tab right here, and we're going to talk about the enlistment. So we're going to scoot right down to open enlistment window. Now you're going to notice the system name here. It's called Zarzakh. Now, Zarzakh is a system that serves as the base of operations for both the Garissas and Angels, and it has basically its own special Stargate, which is the Jovian Stargate. And it works a little differently there. Once you jump into Zarzakh, the solar system itself is a little more hostile. You have to be very careful. One is if you burn out of the certain clear range around the jump gates, you can get stuck into this space that will actually kill your ship over time by damaging the hull. It's a little interesting, right? And now both LP stores are there as well. It also has a clone bay that I personally use, especially for wanting to get back into the action. And so, like, well, how can you get back into the action if it's not directly in the faction warfare space? Well, it actually has a jump gate that alters every so often. So it'll be like 1 minute it shoots you to the FOB, forward operating base for Angels, and then it'll switch as a cooldown period, and then switches to the FOB for the Garistas. So that is a good way to get in and out of the action and having your ship staged in Zarzakh. So we're going to open the enlistment window here, and obviously you can see you can choose, have a couple different things here, and just some things to note, like warnings. And this is very important to know that you're not just at war with one faction, you're going to be at war with two. So you're at war with the Mimitar Republic and Amar Empire Capsuleers, and attacked by their navies in enemy empire space. So as a new player, that's really important to know, especially if you get attacked a lot. However, what you can do is if you find yourself getting attacked too much and you're like, you know what, this just isn't for me, you can dock up in any station and click on retire, which I'm highlighting here with my cursor. You can't see my cursor on my screen, but you can retire and get out of the faction. So it's that easy to, what you want to do though, in order to enlist, you have to be in Zarzakh, or an Angel outpost for enlistment, and it'll show that when you go to enlist and click on this list button here. Once I'm hiding it here, it'll take you to where to go to enlist. So that's the easy part. Now let's talk about the fits you're going to need. And as I said before, I like to try and keep things as low cost as possible, low barrier to entry. These are still more for Omega players. These are not all alpha fits. If you do, or you would like an alpha fit for very new players, feel free to leave comments down below in the videos, and I will get those fits to you right away, as well as even a donation to help you get them going. Some people do these a little differently, so I always try to keep my fits in mind with the fact that there might be some unwanted PvP. So, first one up is, I call him Dr. West. This is my Algos fit. I have 5 200-meter autocannons. I have medium power. I have all tier 1 stuff. I have a medium Ansel, a warp scram, and a Wanker warp drive to get out of the fight and into the fight quickly. Keep in mind that once you're scrammed, you can no longer use this MWD, so sometimes folks will switch this for an afterburner and AB. Now down below, I have a damage control. Always going to have that. Some armor plates. Yes, this is dual tanked. And a small ancillary repper. That's for when you have the incidental PvP that goes past further. And of course, I have tier 2 rigs, small transverse bulkheads, and ancillary carrot router. That's just stuff that I typically run. I love this fit. It's cheap. It's only 20 or so mil, and it does put out a decent amount of DPS. As for the drones I'm using, because this is specifically for Angel Faction Warfare, I'm only using Amar drones, those acolytes. Oh my goodness, acolytes? No, dude, that was so bad. I use acolytes, and I will fill it up with only light drones entirely here. And as you can see, I'm a little low because I was actually using this ship earlier, and I lost some drones, had to abandon them. But the reason why I use these ones in particular is because, one, it is perfect for killing the rats that you go into each site. And we'll go into that in a little bit. Now we're going to jump down to my next ship that I really like, and that is my Vexor. And I call this militia standard. It's a very easy to use Vexor, and it's also, once again, it's very affordable at only 35 mil, if not less, depending on where you are. Just as a drone link augmentator, it is a full. It's touch and go, but it is fully cap stable, which I like. A large shield booster, 100 MN AB, which is great for wanting to burn in and out, especially if someone has scram on you. You can steady burn away from them and just hope and pray that they don't have friends jumping in on you, but at least you can hold for just a little while. Then we can see our Enduring Spect Hardener. Yes, it's only tier 1. Once again, trying to keep costs very low. I have 3 drone damage amplifiers. And yes, I do have different drones for this. So I have Infiltrators, Valkyries, and Hobgoblins. So the Valkyries and Hobgoblins are mostly for trying to fight off enemy players that kind of warp in on you. And the Infiltrators are for the rats that you are going to be killing, the NPCs. Now, with those in mind, right, the reason why I have those is a few different things. So these are tailored to the sites that you're going to be doing. And the sites for Angel Faction Warfare is much, much different than the sites for normal Faction Warfare. So we'll talk on those in just a little bit, and I'll talk to you why I have these 2 fits here. Now, also, you can be a little more PvP focused, and maybe you want to get into those fights with other players. Maybe you don't want to run right away. And here's just a couple of fits that I tend to use when I'm looking for both a mixture of PvE and PvP. But they're not always the best suited for either or. They can win you some fights, but they won't win you every fight. And that's just like with every ship, right? So we have my Thrasher Fleet issue. I call him Arthur because Arthur. It is arty fit. 6 280 millimeter howitzer artillery cannons here. T1 midsection. I got 1 T2 gyrostabler, 1 tier 1. I am very, very tight on my power grid and on my CPU here. It is not cap stable. However, I do have some T1 rigs. It does pack a punch. I mean, if you look at what it loads, if I hit this, I think it can do a good bit of DPS as well. Let's just load this real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. So just for a destroyer with range, and so you want to kind of be burning at range with this thing, 41 and 57 kilometers respectively, you're still doing 211 DPS. That's still pretty good. You can kill some of the rats in some of their small sites with this. However, you might be targeting small frigate players or other destroyers such as the Algos fit, or the infamous fraternity bot algos fit, which is very paper thin to melt, but will usually have a group. So you're going to want to burn away from them as fast as possible. Now, my next fit is I call this the Honor Brawler, and because I'm in 4S, I haven't named that. It's a little more on the more expensive side. This is going to be sitting at 45, 50 mil, depending on where you're at. I am looking for a fight with this one. It's dual medium ancil shield booster rep with 4 rocket launchers here. Your ADC for when you get absolutely rocked by multiple players, and you want to be very, very careful with how you manage your cap on this one. Now, when it comes to the damage output, you're going to be looking at it does some decent damage, but you are going to want to, once again, this is going to be more for one-on-one. It's going to struggle against multiple players. It still does rep really well. It can really hold its own. And I just happen to like this one because, one, honestly, I just kind of like the look of it. That's just why I buy it. Last but not least, for ships that are both PvE and PvP oriented, my personal favorite that does the job really well is the VNI. Now, with this VNI in particular, it is not cap stable. You will need to use cap boosters for it. I usually have a hard shell and a Pyrolancia one in here as well. You're going to want to load these bad boys up. So once again, it is dual rep, armor repped. It has 3 electron blasters in the heavy, 1 medium energy neutralizer. So you're going to be fighting a couple other frigates with this, destroyers and or other cruisers, and it does pack a punch still. It does a great job. And so even with that armor tank, with those 2 reppers, you just to be knowledgeable how armor tank works, and it's all tier 1 rigs. Cost is on the higher end of all these. It is at 114 million-esque, and it's a little bit on the pricier side. However, this does do a great job. In the drone section, which is most important, is the alka loads for, once again, those smaller like frigate and destroyer targets in the sites, and then a predators for the larger ones. It does a great job running larger sites as well. But just to be mindful that you are MWD fit, so if someone gets a scram on you, you are in trouble. Yes, you can scram them back, but that is not always a guarantee of a victory. Now let's go right back to that menu. Let's talk about the sites. So once again, I'm going to go back to insurgencies. We're going to talk about sites here as well. And then we're going to go right to the front lines and see for ourselves. So real quick in terms of just how this works, right? We're going to go insurgency activities. So we're going to talk about the different sites in terms of just the big ones, in terms of the event ones. So for them, there's the corporate outpost raid, the mining op ambush, laundering facilities, counterinsurgency outposts, and ice refinery heists. Now, all these sites are a little more advanced, but for the new player, if you're joining a small fleet, the most common one that you will probably be doing is the mining op ambush. This is very, very straightforward. It's relatively easy to do as long as you have a few friends. I've been able to do this site with a VNI or with a Vexer, with 2 or 3 other friends or other corp mates. So you can do this with just a few people as long as you have a core group. Just be mindful you can be pushed off by other larger fleets. With this one, essentially, when you warp in, pirate NPCs have pinned down like an ore mining fleet. So you need to start killing the Mordu's Legion ships responding to the call for aid. And once they're all destroyed, they'll basically pay the ransom and give you some LP. Now this is a really good one because it pays out. I think the last time I got paid was like 50K. It does pay out a good amount. However, once there's more than 10 pilots in this site, you'll start to lose your benefits. You'll start to lose the amount of LP that you get. Another one that you'll see is the ice refinery heist. This is a fairly common one to do. You can do this with a smaller group. Basically, it is a little bit difficult. But basically, essentially, you're running a heist. I don't, honestly, I don't run this too much, but you can do it with a group of about 5 people. So long story short, how to complete this activity, it's very, very self-explanatory in this guide. I'll just say what you want to do is you want to get on top of that. The hauler is completely automated, so once you're within close range, then the tankers will become lost. So essentially, you just have to sit close to that tanker as it moves the entire way until it's delivered and stolen, right? Now let's talk about the actual sites that you're going to be running, especially if you're doing this by yourself and doing this solo. So I'm going to go ahead and click Find Objectives, and we're just going to run through them real quick and talk about the ship restrictions. So There's that first one, but that's not the one I want to talk about. So the first one, so with normal faction warfare, there's a scout site, then a small site. That doesn't exist in Angels or in Guristas. It just goes straight to small. And with this, as you can see, it says ADV 10, ADV 1. That means one person will get the full benefits. If there's two people for Angels or the same faction in there, it's going to be reduced rewards. Now with smalls, you can only fit in frigates and destroyers. You can also fit in assault frigates, which is very, very popular, especially for me. And then when you go up to the medium outpost, that's where you'll see the Vexor or the VNI come into play. But also you can bring in a tier 2, well, a tier 3, like a tactical destroyer. Now, with that one, the site rats are going to be slightly larger, which is why you're going to want to have those medium-sized drones just to run the site faster. Because every time you kill a fresh wave of rats that are in there, the timer will start ticking down. You want to kill those rats as fast as possible so you're on that grid for the least amount of time before someone warps in on you, kills you, hunts you down, or tries to steal the grid from you. And then same thing with the large. Once again, a large is going to be for battle cruisers and above. And then there's an open, which means anyone can warp to it, any ship size. There's no gate on the outside, so you're warping straight to the grid. Now, you'll notice here that they're all advanced ones. Now, let's see if I can quickly find one that says more than that. Usually there's a couple at least. Bingo, there's one right there. So the advanced 4, that means 4 players can pile in to get the maximum payout. And how that works is you'll work together as a team to get it done and get a higher payout. Now you'll notice here the mining op is always advanced 10. And there's quite a few popping on right now, so we're probably going to be going to the front lines very soon here to have a little bit of fun. Now here's the most important part, making the ISK. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Zarzakh and start trying to make this ISK. So let's go there now. All right, here we are in Zarzakh. As you can see, the gate is a little different now. You also notice that this is a blue symbol on it from Alsavoyden, and then these gates for Turner, for GTACO, and HTAC-P have a red symbol next to it. That means I cannot go through those gates. So essentially, because I have jumped through this gate, I am locked to going through here again. I cannot jump out of one of those gates. That's just one of the functions here in Zarzakh. So here is the Deathless Interstellar Shipcaster. So I'm just going to warp over there at 70 just to show you what it does and what it looks like. So as I said earlier, it can link you directly to the FOB, the Forward Operating Base. This here does exactly that. So this is the Shipcaster. You're going to warp at 0 though, not at 70. And I'll move dock habit station as soon as I get on grid. I just want to take a quick look at it, show you what it looks like. So what you'll do here is you'll land on this. As you can see, I just went through the bubble. So that is right over there. You can kind of see it. So if I was setting at 0, I would initiate launch. Oh, I'm not in direct faction. So this is for, so right now it's charging. So once it is initiated and the gate is active, you can then go to Kadama for the Guristas and get to the front line. And that is how you do that. You just wait for it to hit this. Initiate launch is currently charging. And you can see that it'll be ready for Kadama in 28 seconds. Now, on the flip side for Angels, you can see that it's charging and it'll be ready in 2 minutes and 21 seconds for you to jump through that gate and get to the other side. So in the meantime, though, we're going to go ahead and dock up in station, review the LP market that you can access as a player, and then we're going to talk about the things that you can do as not a player, as someone who is part of like a Discord server, or how to donate LP for profit. However, this can get dicey because if you had to deal with someone who is not trustworthy, they can steal all your LP that you worked so hard for. But there is a verified list of players who do pay, who are trustworthy, who have their own private groups that you can donate loyalty points to make a pretty penny off of as well. But for this, let's just go ahead and go right to the direct loyalty point store. I'll start by saying I only have 50,000 LP right now. I have cashed out, so to speak. So how does this work? So first thing we'll show affordable only in villages by cost, so lowest to highest. And what you can then do is you can buy this for LP. So you can buy these implants. Let's go to implants that be a little more special. So stuff like this, the Angel Net Resonator it will cost you 1 million ISK and 1000 LP. Let's go ahead and look at the market, right? It is selling for 2.7 million ISK. So basically, this is how you do the math if it's worth it for you as a player to get the maximum ISK per LP, right? So that was 1000 LP cost, right? Now let's go ahead and do the math here. 2.7 minus 1 million ISK. I'm showing you how I do the math. So now we're at 1.7 million. Divide that by 1,000, and that is 1,700 ISK per loyalty point. And that is a very good price point to do. So we are okay with that. Obviously, there's going to be a price reduction because of the taxes, but also you can see some people are buying it directly for 2 mil. That's still cutting it close on the margins, but at least you're doubling your ISK and making your money. Another one that people do that they'll just kind of run through very, very frequently isn't the blueprints, but it's actually the ammunition. Ammunition is incredibly easy to do. We keep scrolling here. Let's scroll down. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Scroll. Oh shoot, where did it? Maybe I missed it. Filters. Let's go to apparel, charge. Here we go. So these here are a little easier to do with the charges. Well, obviously you'll need with the ammunition, you're going to need the base item to then make the faction item. But one cool thing here, I will say this. There are some also high ticket items to go for. And for those who stick to it, who stick around, there are very high value blueprints that people can go for. And that would be, oh, no, hold on. Show all blueprint. There we go. So if you stick with it long enough, you can get something like if 150 million LP. Obviously, it's going to cost you a good chunk of ISK as well. However, the Azariel blueprint sells for a very, very high value. So those are the high ticket items you want to work your way to. But more or less, you want to go where the cheaper stuff is, the stuff that's just a little bit easier to go for. Data cores are good. Some of the implants are good. But what you do is you look at what the value is on the market and then base off what you purchase on that to sell it. So this does require a little bit of patience, a little work. And then what you can do also is go do direct market research for Angel faction warfare stuff and see how much it is getting on the market versus how much you can be purchasing for with your LP to then sell it and trade up. Now let's go to something that I really enjoy. Let's see here. Oh, okay. So I had to filter some things here again. So let's put some other items in here that I like just as well. So let me just do some quick scrolling. Scroll, scroll, scroll. I know I'm moving fast, guys. Bear with me here. So we talked about the net resonators. Those are a clear-cut one. And then we're going to scroll up to some of the more specified items. So I want to find one thing I used to sell, especially in the beginning, especially because it's just a higher bonus. Ooh, where'd it go? Yes, here we go. Gun turrets and the scram. I'm looking for the scram. This one's a good one as well because if you look at what the price is on this, you could be selling it. Oh, no one's selling it. That's a surprise. So with the scrams, all these things, you want to basically just base your value off the LP versus the value of the ISK versus what it's selling for in the market. And that's how you can make your ISK, make your profit margins. Now let's talk about other options you can go to. So I'm going to pull it up right here. Is the Angels Discord. I don't know if it's going to pop up on this screen. I think I have to switch what is recording, but there is an Angel Cartel Discord. They do a great job. So if you join Angel Faction Warfare, you'll have the militia chat window in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Go and ask them, hey, who can send me the link for the Angel Discord, and someone will send it to you. The Angel Cartel Discord has a lot of resources in it, as well as fleet options that people are going out on to work together. It keeps you up to date on who's AWOXing to keep you safe, and also just some general talk with other players. And you can even get recruited to another corp. Now, that all said, let's go ahead. Let's jump into the front line. Let's run a site and end the video. Let's get over there. We are landing. Seconds to spare. And we're going to the front lines. We're going to the first small LBC, and hopefully I don't get killed here. So a couple things you need to know about insurgencies is a little bit about corruption. So stage 5 corruption means this low sec system is going to be treated as if it is null sec. And if there's a high sec system and it's been fully corrupted, like this 0.5 right here, that means it will be treated as a low security system. It's actually at stage 4, it's not fully corrupted yet, but when you can get them to those stages, you can then start shooting non-corp, other, oh, vengeance. So one thing to be careful of in faction warfare is people could doing a little bit of what's called AWOXing, which means they shoot players in their own faction to keep them out of sights. And that happens quite a bit, especially from fraternity members. So if you see Chaos Arbiter in system and they happen to be in a site, expect them to kill you. Same thing for fraternity auxiliary or any fraternity-based corp. They will likely try and AWOX you. So since this has, do you want me to do? I'm going to go to a couple jumps out and go to another system and try somewhere else. All right, we're gearing up to do our first site here. So it's a small, we're going to slide down the acceleration gate and get onto the grid. And one thing you might want to do is just keep your D-scan up and every so often pulse it, especially if new players come into the system. Gonna drop our alkalites, lights out, start applying DPS. Also, we're gonna just pulse our guns a few times here just to try and get this going a little bit faster. Now, one thing you'll see here is the capture point is 30-kilometer range. That means you have to be within 30 kilometers of this. Otherwise, the site will not run, the timer will not kick down. So as you can see, it is saying contested, right? And then we're going to switch over to this target, and then a timer is going to start. We're trying to get this site done as fast as possible. Hit that scan. There's been a +1. I'm going to look them up. Deepwater Hooligans. We'll just keep an eye out. All right. So our timer is starting. Let's go ahead and pull drones. We'll release drones once the next spawn comes in. And we're going to work our way down to 0 minutes to get that LP. All right, guys. I am on the last wave of rats. It's been, I think, 3-4 waves total. So not many. It has been very, very easy to do. Oh, that one's kind of far. Let's get the drones on that right away. Let's burn towards them as well. As you can see, is very, very low on the contested time. We're almost there. Just gotta burn for this guy real quick. Acolytes are doing a great job. Pulse my guns. Pulse D-scan one more time. 40 seconds on the timer. That's excellent. Calling our drones. We're going to start aligning out just in case anyone slides. Always be ready to slide out or disengage or try and get a little bit distance between you and whoever is going to come in. All right, let's see that timer. 17 seconds. All right, and when we do, I'll show you how much LP I've earned for this. This is taking me a total of maybe like 15 minutes. Like I said, you want to kill those waves of NPCs very, very quickly for Mordu. That way you can get your payout. So here it is, 27,500 LP. That's not bad for 15 minutes of work. we're going to go ahead and I'm going to dock up and call it there because I've just been doing a lot of stuff tonight. But that is how you run the sites. It's that simple. Just once again, drones, the reason why I like drone boats is because it reduces the cost. You're not having to buy tons and tons of ammunition. I am pulsing my guns on this one just to make it go a little bit faster to get through it. And that is how you run the sites. So with that being said, that pretty much covers this video. If you have learned a little bit, please leave a comment down below. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you really like my content overall, please feel free to subscribe. I always appreciate that, and it means a lot to me. And if this video has helped you at all, or if you have additional questions on this, please feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I hope to see you on the next video. That's it for now, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.